A first reaction and analysis of My Generation by The Who. What's happening, guys? Some of you may have heard this already, but I'll try and keep pumping out the message that my video analyzing the Beatles track Yesterday has not been published correctly by YouTube. It was blocked for over a month. It's finally been released. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description and add it as a I in this video as one of the cards. I really thought it was one of their best songs I've heard so far. I really enjoyed analyzing that track. So check the video out if you get a chance. So I read a couple of interesting things about this song as I was doing some research for the track. Apparently Pete Townsend wrote this track on a train from London to Southampton in 1965 on his 20th birthday, just 20 years old when he wrote this track. Also, apparently there's a stutter that happens within this song. Roger Daltrey was known as a younger kid to have a stutter. He's also commented that he had not rehearsed the song prior to the recording. He was nervous and he was unable to hear his own voice through the monitors. At this point, I've only really reacted to The Who's album Who's Next, and I've not really gone back or forward from that album. So I think this will be interesting to hear the band in its formative years. This was apparently a very important track in their history and discography, so I'm super curious to see how this one sounds. Also, excuse the gym clothes, I'm in a bit of a rush today. If you do end up enjoying the video, hit me with a like, perhaps share it with a friend if you think it's worth it. Also, if you're into daily music content and analysis just like this video, subscribe to the channel and join our growing community. This is My Generation by The Who. Straight in. Keith Moon.
Just because we get around. Talking about my generation. Things they do look awful. Talking about my generation. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation. This is my generation, baby. Why don't you all fade away? Don't try and dig what we all say.
Okay, very interesting. One thing has stuck out to me really quickly is the sort of spirit and nature of the song. It's very rebellious. It's kind of a middle finger. And also the fact that they're using lyrics in a way that's bending the words. Like, for example, when he said cold, cold, why don't you all fade away? I think that would have been a huge breakaway from what these guys' parents were listening to at the time. They probably thought, like, what's wrong with these kids? Why are they speaking like this? We were talking about Roger Daltrey's stutter earlier on, right? Normally, back in the days, I feel like to keep this pristine image of your musicians, you would have cut that out, right? Why is he stuttering? Let's do it again. But the fact that they kept it in, to me, that reminds me of hip-hop. Hip-hop speaks its own slang. It's not trying to be anything else other than speak the language of whatever neighborhood the kid is from who's rapping, which I really, really respect. I love, that's the aspect of hip hop that's so cool to me. It's a complete picture and flash into the lives and the lingo and the spirit of whoever it is we're looking at and their community. And I see the same thing in this, which I really love. I love the spirit of this thing. It's a very rebellious track. Let's back this up. Good 5 seconds. Here we go.
Try and dig what we all say. I'm not trying to cause a big sensation. I'm just talking about my generation. My generation. This is my generation,
baby. Great bass work. Keith Moon, man.
Why don't you all fade away? Don't try to dig what we all say. I'm trying to cause a big sensation. Just talking about my generation. This is my generation. This is my generation, baby.
Okay, I also hear a lot of similarity, particularly in the spirit of it, the lyrics of it, what they're trying to say with the track I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, which I heard earlier on. I also like the sort of message and the rebellious nature of that track too. from my sort of look at history and where we were as a society at that point in time, there seemed to have been a huge split between this generation and the one before it. That's why a lot of music like this was coming out. And I think a lot of these guys were also influenced by Bob Dylan's rebellious nature, the things that he was also writing about. So I see a link between the two tracks. I think they were very closely released with one another. I think maybe The Who came first. People were saying in the reaction to I Can't Get No Satisfaction. So very interesting that so many people were speaking about the same thing at the same time. Pretty cool. Let's back this up.
People try to put us to down. My generation. Just because we could get around. My generation. Things they do look awful cold. My generation. I hope I die before I get old.
Look at the cynicism within this song. It's like to an upbeat kind of musical setting, right? But if you really look at the lyrics, they're kind of cynical in nature almost. Aspects of it. I think there's also a aspect that we're trying to break free. I don't think that's necessarily cynical, but check this out. Things they do look awful cold. I hope I die before I get old. It's like they're looking at their parents and the generation that came before and all the things they did, the wars and whatnot. And they're thinking to themselves, like, I don't want to turn into that. I'd rather die before that happens, which is a lot of what young people feel. You know, they'd rather burn bright but short than live long and like sort of peter out, I guess. Pretty cool lines, man.
Before I get old.
Keith Moon going off. Sounds like military drums. Cool ending there. It could be taken two different ways. Whoops. Where it could be like the chaos of youth, right? That's what the drums were doing, is all kind of frantic and chaotic. Or it could be taken as like making fun of like military drums, you know, trying to poke fun, be satiristic, if that's even a word, about like the military and the sort of discipline and austere nature of things. Okay, so let's talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. What I like about it, again, it's the spirit of the track. It's a middle finger in a sense to the things that were before, that we can break the rules, we can do things differently. I love that sort of aspect to this song. Along with that, I Can't Get No Satisfaction track. This reminds me a lot of hip hop. That's what I think hip hop is truly based upon. When you listen to Public Enemy, even the newer stuff, it's all about even breaking the rules of the generation before. A lot of people make fun of the new hip hop artists within hip hop, within the hip hop community, but those guys, they all say the same thing. You guys did it one way, we're going to do it differently now. We're going to change all the rules up. So I think this is a very common theme that youth feel against the things that have come before. Okay, so now let's talk about what I didn't like about this song. I'm going to be honest with you, this is not one of my favorite Who songs I've heard so far. It's kind of simple. It has a sort of mantra, chant-like lyrics to it, and it didn't really hit me the same way other songs from The Who have. I think when they're being operatic and bold and big, they're much more interesting to me. This was a little bit too simple for me, for my taste. Now, someone else may feel very differently about this track, that it was a generational change in music. Maybe all of that is true, but I'm just looking at it from an outsider's perspective. It's not for me, I would be honest and say. It's just very repetitive, you know. I didn't feel like there was new things introduced. the way a lot of the Who songs were in, I think of like Behind Blue Eyes or even Baba O'Reilly. So many different things happening, all these different instruments being used as well, different ideas being introduced. And yeah, I just didn't get that from this track. And I think that was kind of on purpose, right? They're trying to be straight to the point. It also seems like they're going for radio play. This seems like it's built to be played on the radio at the time. This is sort of my guess, so that's why it's so short as well. But hey man, listen, there's still aspects of the song that I appreciate. I can appreciate it for what it is too, but in terms of it being like added to the playlist in the same way like so many of the other songs I've heard on this channel are, maybe not my cup of tea. But that's that's fine. I'm always going to be honest on this channel. So yeah, let's see what the Who comes up with next. I'm still very excited to hear their music. They've been awesome so far.